Welcome, everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo, and we're covering the Friday nights on Ion games. And boy, we had what a night. If you love women's basketball or basketball of any kind, the games we had Friday night, other than the Valkyries game, were all down to the last minute. Just the competition is getting so, it's been that way pretty much the whole season, but all four of those games were down to the wire. How exciting was that? And this was one of them. We had the Fever and the Mystics, and they were playing in Indiana. Boy, what a game. What a game. You know, that young Mystics team, they're impressive. They're impressive. It's really nice to see them starting to put it together with, they made some trades and, it looks like it's working for them. There's some players on the Mystics that are getting some playing time now that weren't before. And, one of those is Emily Ainsley. Early on, I've covered every game, and I've commented before on how much I like Emily Ainsley. And she's not a great scorer. She's not, but I remember her back when she was at Louisville when they were making their Final Four run. She's a hustler. She is all over the floor, and she's such a spark for them. And put her with Iriafen and Citron. She's starting to play really well. I'm glad they finally put her in, for more than 2 or 3 minutes. So, anyway, the Fever, they started out good. They had a lead in the first quarter, but, I was looking at the quarterly stats, and they got outscored every other quarter after that. They just couldn't put it together. But, it's not like, the Mystics just took over. This was a tight game the rest of the way. It's just the Fever had started out with a lead, and then they just couldn't maintain that. But, that's no slight on the Fever or anything. The Mystics just played the Valkyries, and the Valkyries had a 25-point lead on them. And they came back. They came back and they got it all the way to 3 points. And, the Valkyries held on, but, they had a bigger lead than the Fever did. So, the Mystics are a tough little, tough young bunch. So the Mystics get the win, 88-84. Like I said, the Fever went out to an early lead. They were up 23-16 in the first, and then the Mystics outscored them in the second, 24-22, 22-19 in the third, and then 26-20 in the fourth. And that's how they got the win. So Indiana has now dropped to 7th place, I believe. The Valkyries are a game up on them. So they have moved into 6th. The Fever are now 18-16. And Washington has jumped up to 15-18. Indiana had way more points in the paint, 46-30. They had more second chance points, 15-17. Their biggest lead was 13, and the Mystics had built a 9-point lead before the Fever came back. Turnovers, the Washington actually had more turnovers, 14-10. But the points off turnovers, which is more telling, Washington got 15 points off those 10 turnovers, and the Fever got 18. So shooting percentages, this is where the difference is. Because I was looking at rebounding, it was pretty close rebounding. All those stats are pretty close, other than points in the paint, which is in Indiana's favor. But the big difference is the Fever shot 45% from the floor, and the Mystics shot 52%. They shot 47% from 3, and the Fever only shot 33%. There's the difference in the game right there. Because if you have, they only made one more 3. The Mystics only made one more 3 than the Fever did. But, like, basket-wise, let's see. The other big difference was the foul line. The Mystics went to the foul line 26 times. The Fever only went there 16. And they made 84% of those. So, the line going to the foul line and then the shooting percentage, that was the difference. So the Fever had 5 players in double figures. Yeah, you had Boston with 20 points, Howard had 11, Kelsey Mitchell had 14, Odyssey Sims. She did well for them. She was, she was doing her thing as a point guard. She was distributing the ball. There was a couple plays that didn't work out for her, but for the most part, she did okay. But she only ended up with 3 assists. So she was pretty much just dribbling the ball down and then passing it, and then it would go from there. Kelsey Mitchell actually had 9 assists. So, and then Dantas had 10 points. But the thing that I noticed was they didn't play hardly anybody. There wasn't a whole lot off the bench. I mean, they played Timpson pretty much. She was getting some minutes off the bench. Her and Dantas. But they didn't put Bibby in the game at all. They didn't put... Kira Lambert's new for them. So, I guess they really didn't have many to put in the game. There's a whole lot of... You look at the list here, and there's a whole lot of... 6 players that... illness, injury... only 2 are coach's decision. So, and then the Mystics had 3 players like that. So, anyway, the Mystics seem to be rotating more players in, but I guess Indiana doesn't really have the choice at this time, just for the injury situation. So, anyway, but, after the Mystics had built a lead, the Fever came right back. So that's what was great about this game. They had just, you'd get a run, and then the other team would come back, and then that team would get a run, and then they'd come back. And the Fever had a chance right in the end of the game. But they just, they couldn't get a good enough shot off. And the Mystics end up winning the game. So looking at the Mystics players, you had Sonia Citron, 21 points. Boy, she's playing well. She is playing really well. She was 6 for 13 overall. She was 3 for 5 from 3, 6 for 6 from the foul line. And then Iriafen, 18 points and 12 rebounds. She's tough under the boards. And she has that move where she goes to the left and just boom, boom, and it's like a score every time. Just about every time. She's got that move down. She definitely does. And then Dolson's been coming on. The big difference since the trades for Washington is Dolson is all of a sudden hitting 3-point shots again. And she's actively involved in the offense. 9 points for her. She still should, she's 6'5". She should get under there and duke it out. But she doesn't, I guess maybe she don't like doing that. I don't know. She's a great pick setter, though. But she was 3 for 4 overall, 1 for 2 from 3. Melbourne had 7 points. Shug Sutton's been playing well for them, too. She had 4 assists and 13 points. She was 5 for 6 overall. Emily Inkster, 7 points. But she had 7 rebounds, 4 assists. She had 3 blocks. There was a sequence. Who was it? I think it was... who was it? I can't think of who it was. Somebody blocked her. They went down the court, and then someone blocked her. I think it was Timpson. And just knocked the crap out of the ball. And then it was like the next player, the one after, and then whoever the ball, she just came out and went bam. Oh my goodness, Inkster was blocking shots. She got Sophie Cunningham in the corner once. I can't think of the other one, but she ended up with 3 blocks and 3 steals, 1 turnover, 7 rebounds. She was 3 for 9. She didn't shoot as well. She was 0 for 3 from 3. Like against the Valkyries, she shot 100%. And then Alicia Clark. Alicia Clark is a good addition to this team. She's still working her way in there, but she's a good, she's a wily vet. And she can shoot the 3, and they left her open. Alicia Clark had a time to just, like, she got the ball. Nobody even came out on her. And she even had time to bounce the ball and, shore it up, and away it goes. I don't know. I don't know. Lucy Oslin had 2 points, and then Madison Scott, who they newly acquired, she got in the game but didn't score at all. And then looking at the points for the Fever, Lexi Hull had 7 points, hustling all over the place as always. Just 3 steals. She had 5 rebounds. She hit a 3. She was 3 for 8 overall. Howard, 11 points. Howard missed some easy shots. Well, I don't know how easy they are, but they're, close to the basket. But she had 4 turnovers. She was the Fever only had 9 turnovers, but she had 4 of the 9. So, she made some mistakes this game. But, she's been good for the Fever overall. She's had some really nice games. And then Aaliyah Boston, 20 points, 9 rebounds. I thought that they would keep feeding her, but they would kind of do it sometimes and then stop. And it's the same thing with Chicago with Cardosa. If I was the coach, I'd be like, everyone pass the ball around and feed Camilla. Just feed her. Keep feeding her. Cunningham had 8 points. She didn't take a lot of shots, though. She only took 6 shots. So she was 2 for 4 from 3. 2 for 2 at the line. She had 6 assists, 2 rebounds. She had 3 steals. Her and Lexi Hull had 3 steals. So the Blonde Bombers, stealing the ball all over the place and hitting threes. Kelsey Mitchell had 14 points. She didn't shoot very well. She was 1 for 6 and 6 for 19 overall. For the Fever going forward until Caitlin Clark gets back, she has to score like 25 points or more for the Fever to win. Her and Boston, or the rest of the team really has to pick it up. Odyssey Sims had 11 points, 3 assists. She was 5 for 10 overall, 1 for 3. That's a good, basically, first game for them. Dantas, 10 points. She was 4 for 6 overall, 2 for 4 from 3. And then Timpson had she made a hoop and then a foul shot. So 3 rebounds for her. So that's how this game went. It was one of the, barn burner games. I'm going to be getting to the rest of them here shortly. But great, very entertaining game. So we'll see you next time.